Well, hello, once again. It's only been 6 months since the last video. Give you a break, I suppose. A few things happened. I wrote a few books, talk about them in a moment. I was down getting some seawater at Coogee Beach, and yes, I drink seawater. My water is filtered, so it takes everything out, so it takes all the good nutrients out as well as the rubbish. So to make sure I get all the nutrients that I need for my body, I drink probably half a cup of seawater a day. Now sometimes I forget about it, but certainly five times a week, sometimes 7. And I've been doing that for on and off for over 30-40 years. So it hasn't done me any harm. But in any way, I was there to get the seawater, and I had rubber shoes on, and there was water on the rocks, and I slipped, went over, hit my head, gashed an artery. Took an hour and a half for the ambulance to come. Probably lost about a litre or more of blood. People tried to staunch the flow by putting serviettes on my head. This guy, his wife was going and getting serviettes from a hotel, and she said, "I can't get any more." He said, "Why?" He said, "You've used up 200, there's none left." So anyway, I had 8 stitches, and never even got a headache. But and I met a few good friends who were there to help me in my time of need while I was waiting an hour and a half. I suggested, because when they said there was an hour's delay at least for an ambulance, I said, "Well, we're going to a hotel and grab a bottle of wine." I said, "We might as well have a few glasses while we're waiting." No, he said, you can't do that. Oh, why not? I don't know. Anyhow, we didn't have our bottle of wine. But anyway, 8 stitches, you can't see it. So that happened, and I had tinnitus, and that was very loud for a while, and then it just diminished, come and go until it's disappeared now. And so it gave me a chance to do some reading, and I've read some wonderful books. And I finished writing a couple as well. I'll show you what they are. One is I'm quite pleased with both of them, and one is Petals, Leaves and Thorns, and it's a book of poetry. Now, if someone said to me even a year ago that oh, you should put out a book of your poems, I don't think so. I never considered myself a poet, although I write poetry. And it just comes, and when it comes, it flows out and away, and nothing might happen again for a month or 2 months, and then one week I might do 3 poems because something has cropped up, or it just comes to me. And when it does come, it does flow, I'm going to have to say. So that was one. And the other one was the CATHAR Chronicles. Now, I've been on that for, may I look and just see when the first one was. Chapter 1, Gnosticism, 27th November 2012. So this is 2020. So that was 2019 when it came out. So that's 7 years. And so this is the Gnostic CATHAR Chronicles. And that is just essays on Gnosticism and Catharism, and that's channeled me by Omni de Nevers, and he's the guy who channeled to my friend Jim, who died, the CATHAR dialogues, and he did that over a period of probably 6-7 years as well. So it was my turn to have stuff channeled to me, and usually what happens, I wake up just my mind is full of this information, and about 4 or 5 in the morning, rather usually about 5 o'clock, I just had to get out of bed, and my little Mac Air's there always waiting, so I get up and start typing away, and as quick as one thought comes to me, one sentence is finished, the next one's already there, so I don't really have time to think about it until it's finished, which could take, it's never taken less than an hour, and sometimes taken up to 2 hours. So there's all this information that's come from omnis and the boards, and it's really bringing Gnosticism and CATHARism for today, for contemporary society, for today's society, and getting away from Gnosticism that was 2,000 years ago, when you've got all the Gnostic Gospels and all these different things. And those people, of course, the word Gnosticism wasn't around, and they didn't term themselves that anyway. They were just people who thought things out for themselves 2,000 years ago, and they were trying to make sense of the world, what information they had at the time. And when it was the Christian Gnostics, they were, even though they contradicted each other considerably, the plain fact was they were all searching for what was really the truth of the matter. And then, of course, with the Emperor Theodosius, they just said, well, we're banning all that, getting rid of reincarnation, which was a big thing in the early church, and all the early church fathers believed in reincarnation, or most of them. And so that was thrown out, and so Gnosticism disappeared, and we had our orthodox religion, and then the Bible and what have you. And of course the Gnostic Gospels are the Gospels that they didn't put in the Bible. But to read them, and believe me, a lot of them are fascinating, but often they're very contradictory. And I always feel when you read the Gnostic Gospels, you read a lot, but you understand little. It's like a quicksand. It's so varied and so vast. So the thing is, Gnosticism, what is it? Well, in its simplest terms, it's just people seeking knowledge, the reality of what's going on in the world. That's the reality of science, the reality of life experiences, and also spiritual and mystical aspects of life. So Gnosticism doesn't shy away from any knowledge, no matter where it's coming from a mystical, from mystical experiences, or science, the latest of science. It welcomes all knowledge, and from that you think about it, you reason with your own intellectual capabilities, and you arrive or you don't arrive at a decision. And that basically is the first thing about Gnosticism, is that it's about knowledge, all knowledge, and you taking from that knowledge what you believe is relevant for you or your beliefs. The second thing is that, and most importantly, is that the Gnostic takes complete responsibility, takes charge of their own mind, body and soul. They don't need any minister, priest, rabbi, mullah, shaman telling you what to believe, what to think, or giving you a set of rules or commandments. The Gnostic seeks out his own connection with the divine. Not easy. Some people, well, I shouldn't say easy. I know people, and my friend Jim and Henri gave me messages and actually appeared to him. He's seen him 3 times. I've never seen my guides. My daughter has. I've got other people who have seen them, and they've been standing next to me and what have you. But I personally have never seen them. But the people who have seen them describe, and they don't know each other, and these people describe my guides. So you can't make a mistake who they are. And so that's the other thing. With that is reincarnation, because to a Gnostic, and again going on the evidence around us, that we have reincarnation. We're not limited to one life. a Gnostic believes basically that we need to experience all manner of experiences, the good, the bad and the ugly. From those things we learn, and we just can't get all those experiences in one lifetime or many lifetimes. For most people it would be, I don't know, but certainly a minimum of 1,000 and maybe many thousands. I don't know about who's counting. But the thing is that we do need that until we arrive at that state where we have unconditional love for everybody. And that doesn't mean to say, you know, I have unconditional love for you, but at the same time, I don't like what you're doing. In fact, I don't even really like you very much. But I realise, as a human being, you have a divine spark within you, and I respect you for that, and even the worst can change. So the fact that you love somebody, I mean, you love animals, but that particular animal there, it's a brown snake in Australia, or a death adder, I wouldn't suggest you pat it because it could bite you and kill you. So, though you have a love of animals, you pick and choose as to who you pat. So let's not take this to its logical conclusion. So that basically is Gnosticism, present-day Gnosticism. But that's a very vast scope. Now, that's the good thing about it. The good thing about it is that you're expected to think yourself based on what you've read, what you've experienced, your life experiences, any spiritual or mystical experiences that you've had. From this, you gather that information. People who are telling about their experiences, you listen to them, and you take what you believe is right for you. Now, the trouble is with Gnostics, this one thinks that, which is right for him, based on what's happened to him, and she thinks quite different, but that's based on what's happened to her and her knowledge. So they may not agree. The other thing about Gnostics, that Gnosticism is a philosophy, and it's a deep philosophy, and it's because of this you can't have a Gnostic church. I mean, it's the very fact you say a church. You know, a church could be a communion of people, but that's okay. But the moment you think of churches and you've got clerics and you've got someone teaching you and a priest or something, that's just not Gnosticism. I mean, there's people doing it, but that's their thing. That's their agenda for whatever reason that they have to be doing that. Since talking to you, a few people have died. I go to 4 funerals now, the weddings, but one person who died, and I do miss, and that was Christopher Hitchens. And I don't know if you listened to Christopher on TV, and his friend, possibly slightly more moderate, Richard Dawkins, and and I just delight in listening to them because they're both ardent atheists, and it's not that they push atheism, it's more that they have a disdain, a dislike for all forms of religion, as do I. And they believe that most things can be explained with science, even though we can't explain everything. So now, at the same time, they're not against, while doing that, they're also very much for the fact that people have the freedom and the liberty to pick and choose whether they believe or don't believe in religion, and also what religion they belong to. Now, what I think is a joke, and they do as well, is that most people, let's have a guess, 95%, 98% of people who belong to any religion, invariably, in most cases, it's a religion of their parents. Someone said, don't ask me who, if you're in the same religion that you were born into, then your life's a failure. I also agree with that. If you believe the same things that your family believed, and you haven't moved away from them, and taken on your own life journey, be it religious or secular, or atheist, or whatever it happens to be, Gnostic, then yeah, I think your life's a failure. But then you've got others to pick it up and learn. So I've been promising to read for some time, and Richard Dawkins' book, The God Delusion. And I must have got about 20 pages to finish it. I have it here. So Richard Dawkins, The God Delusion, and I'm sure many of you read it. It's a great read, and he just rips religion apart, and the reason I don't like it, the main reason I don't like it, because I don't care what people believe. I've got friends and I've got family who are religious, and good luck to them, and I respect them. I fight for their religion or their right to believe to that religion. But what I object to is that children, kids, haven't got a fear in the world. Look, the world, it's a beautiful place. The curious want to learn, want to know about things, want to pick things up. And of course, who do they want to pick it up from? Their parents, because their parents are as God to the child, especially the mother. And that kid who hasn't got a fear in the world, hasn't got a way, by the time their parents, if they're religious parents, finish inculcating, brainwashing, under the term of education, their religion, their fears, their hate, and all the things, and love, but that religion is put on that child. Some of it is good, but the fact that if you're naughty and you do this and do that, that you can go to hell, and hell's a real place, and there's a devil, and the devil's a pretty real person, and these people can hound you, and you'll burn there for ever and ever and ever. It's inhumane. It's disgusting, it's not even logical. And yet this is put upon kids all over the world. This I find, to me, it's disgusting. To me, a child, I'm not against a child being taught religion. I'm all for a child being taught about religions in general, about any religion, so that they can get a basis and they can pick and choose when they're old enough and say, yes, I'm going with that one, or this one, or that one, or none of them. And in fact, as Richard Dawkins puts out, and I agree with him, he said, the King James Bible, I mean, so many of our quotes that we use day to day is from the King James Bible. It's the English in it is absolutely beautiful. It's great literature. Even though it's a fairy story or superstition, not to somebody. Now, some people live and die for it. So, it's not, again, not against the teaching of religions and other philosophies, so that people can evaluate, a child, as they grow up, can evaluate, reason, and pick and choose as to what they would like to decide. One of the great denunciators of religion was Karl Marx, and he wrote about it. But what he said about religion, how he described it was in German, how he described religion is basically how I think about it, because I see so many religious people, and I'm talking about Jewish, I'm talking about Indian, Hindu, Islam, Catholic, Christian, evangelist, all these different religions. Would you put Scientology in there with it? Well, that's up to you. Not that, I wouldn't. But anyway, to these people, they're in such a sorry state, for one reason or another: poverty, lack of education, terrible parents, being abused, living in an unjust society, oppressed by state and everybody. And the one thing they've got is their religion, and they get up and they can come to church on a Sunday and they can sing and they can sometimes sing and dance, and the religion is the one thing that they got that you can't take away. It's very hard to take away from somebody, and so it's a very, very precious thing to these people, and I would be the last person to try and disillusion or take anyone away. Gnosticism is more for people who have been through that experience, but they're looking for something different. They're trying to move away from somebody telling them what to do and look for what they want to do. But Karl Marx said, and it's just I think is a very apt description. He said, religion is the sigh of the religion is the sigh of the oppressed, I'll start again. Religion is the sigh of the oppressed creature. It is the heart of a heartless world. It is the soul of a soulless condition. It is the opium of the people. In German it's opiat das alles. It's the opiate of the masses. And it's true. People need their religion desperately, and it's one of the few things that they do have that they can fall back on, that gives them comfort, can understand their condition, often support them financially as well. So in many ways, religion can be and should be a wonderful thing. So I'm the last person to decry religion in that respect. Gnosticism, Catharism is a different kettle of fish. It's not for the multitude, it's for the few. It's for those people who, for whatever reason, they feel they're looking for something else. They want to work things out based on their own reasoning, their intelligence, their life experience. And this is the heart and soul of Gnosticism. And it's a good thing, but it's not for everybody. Because many people desperately need the comfort and the solace that their religion gives them. I used to say that two of the people, there's probably three people, there's quite a few people that I'd like to have dinner with and just have a chat over. One is Geoffrey Robinson, an Aussie who's Australian, who's in England and London, and his wife, and she's a lawyer for Assange, Julius Assange. And Geoffrey Robinson he's been standing up, and I've got one of his books as well. And he said, what was it? It's basically the Pope should be put in jail. So not the present Pope, the previous Pope. And it's a good read. And the other people it'd be just so wonderful to have dinner with and chat. And that was Christopher Richards, and he died on me, or died on a lot of people, because he died through cancer last year. And Richard Dawkins, but Richard Dawkins is still going strong, and he's an Oxford professor. And I thoroughly recommend you listening to these people and their YouTube, and the people who come up, and and some of the, what I like about Christopher Dawkins is some people, they give him questions, and it's just they're so stupid that he just refuses to answer or react to the stupidity of those questions. Wonderful. Now, with the thing is, I've often wondered about Christopher and Richard, and Christopher Hitchens and Richard Dawkins. But I've hypnotised people and given them a past life experience, taken them back to a past life experience. One was away the last 6 months, and we focused on a life that would be relevant to this one. And in fact, the 6 times that we went into it, and it was quite violent. The first one, he was coughing. I thought I'd better get a bucket and he's going to bring things up. And then the coughing ceased, and then he went into always this one past life, and then he got to the stage you could talk about it. And but an interesting thing was that he had a very sharp pain in the back of his neck. He had it every day, had it all his life. And he's been to specialists, a number of specialists. He's been to physiotherapists, acupuncturists, everything. And they can't find anything physically there, and they couldn't get rid of it. So we're chatting away. And I did say to him, you know, sometimes these things can be a past life experience. And it was just an aside. He said, well, you know, you've done it. I said, what about, would you do it for me? I said, yeah, if you're interested. So we did it on 6 occasions over about 6 weeks or so, once a week. And but each session takes a few hours, so it takes up a bit of time. But without going into too much detail, he was basically a sergeant at arms, and defending a village with about 10 soldiers under him, and they were attacked, and his men put up a bit of a fight, but they basically ran away. And this guy on horseback came up and speared him in the neck, and then what happened? He didn't die immediately, but he was left there alone, and it took him about 4 hours to die in pain, and he was completely deserted, and he felt extremely angry at being deserted and so forth. So that's the story. But the thing was, that was 6 months ago, and that he has not had that pain in his neck since. Now, let's not take from that various pains we have can be from the past life experiences, but in the time and experiences that I've had, that which I've done myself, and that which I know, sometimes these things there can be things that are left over from a past life experience. So, as a Gnostic, now as an atheist, could be not into mysticism or anything like that, or past lives or anything spiritual and so forth. Well, that's a bit sad for atheists. But the plain fact is, when you're there, you're hypnotising somebody, and I don't know what's going to happen. And each time, over 6 weeks, he goes back to the same lifetime, and then that happens, and then that pain that he's had all his life, and this is I don't know what he's 45, 50 years old. He's had 50 years of pain, and now it's gone. So, but from a Gnostic point of view, and the fact that you do that, this is part of life. You can't deny it. Which religion, that's the devil's work. That you can put that aside. But those are the things that I'd like to discuss. I would have liked to discuss with Richard, Christopher Hitchens, and Dawkins. Have they done these experiences themselves, and so forth? But the wonderful thing about Gnosticism is that the whole world is open to you. Science, mysticism, anything. It doesn't matter, primitive societies, highly intelligent societies, it doesn't matter what it is. You are open to it all. There's no religion puts the brain in jail. It's the prison of the mind. Gnosticism is releasing you from that prison. Hey, come on, check this out, check that out, check it out, do it yourself, whatever. Then see what you think about it. Dispose of it. You thought it was useless, or that doesn't work out, or whatever. But you take it all on board. And ultimately is to get a connection with your divine, usually it's with your guides. Then if you do that, is that always great? No. You can say, oh, should I have this experience? And say yes, and you say, well, that was a rotten experience. Yeah, but didn't you learn this and learn that, and learn this and learn that? And you went, oh yeah, so maybe it was okay in the end, but it was pretty terrible. So, you know, things don't change because you suddenly got connection with your guide. You know, they can make things a bit hairy for you as well at different times. Or the Chinese say, oh yeah, Ren Xuan, Bu Bu, Tian Xuan. know, man's plan is not like heaven's plan. So it's not, you know, my plan ain't necessarily the same as what heaven's plan is for me. So I like these Chinese Yanyu. They cut things down to just 4 or 5 little words, but there's a lot of wisdom to them. So yeah, so to get that connection with your divine, it's not the be all and end all, but you're there, you're on your way, and that is also a wonderful experience. But then it's the mystical side. But you know, if you don't have one foot in the mystical side and one foot in the physical side, to me, you're out of balance. If you're all physical, this and work and that, and sport, and this and all these different things, and politics and so forth, but you don't have time to meditate, you don't have time for the mystical side of things, time to go into yourself and discover yourself, the self-discovery, let alone discover the spiritual world. Then you're out of balance. It's like yoga. You're doing all exercises with yoga, but you don't do meditation. No, yoga is meditation as well as exercises. Balance, yin and yang. Enough. Good to be back. Talk to you again. It won't be another 6 months. Bye for now.